Hey, what's happening, guys? So today I just wanted to share this rule of life that I've lived with for quite a while now, probably somewhere between 5 to 8 years. I just remember it's been quite a while that I've had this rule in my life, to the point where I actively live it. And sometimes with these like self-help things, you can say it sounds good, but it's only once it's ingrained to where like you feel uncomfortable if you don't do it. That's when I think it's like truly something worthwhile to share, because I'm guilty of it too. Like I've told people like you should do this, but then it's something that I truly believe in. It's not truly ingrained in my life, but this habit I've had is very much so ingrained in my life, and it's just the idea to leave the world a better place anywhere you go. So at a small level, lower level, it's the idea of anytime you go somewhere or interact with something in a public place, you just leave it better than it was. Either better or no worse than it was. So for example, today I was at the gym and I was just working out. I was in the squat rack and I noticed all the plates were just scattered everywhere. All like they weren't actually on the rack. It was just like thrown around, like whoever finished it just kind of just threw it on the side and didn't bother to put it back. And I didn't do that. It wasn't my fault. I didn't cause that. But I was using that rack, and if I walked away from it, I knew internally that I didn't leave that a better place, because a better place would be it's actually on the rack, like in the position where it's supposed to be. And just out of habit, I just put it back. I racked all the weights that were there, and whoever left it there, I just re-racked them. It wasn't me. It was just me leaving the world a better place. So other examples is when you're at a restaurant or if you're eating somewhere, and just making sure you wipe off the table when you're done. Let's say you go to a restaurant or you go out to eat somewhere and you finish eating, there's some crumbs and stuff left on the table. I always make sure to clean up after myself. I know it sounds like a really basic rule while I say it out loud right now, but some people don't. Because ever since I've done this, I noticed people, I guess you can call them slobs, or it just seems disrespectful. And from my point of view, I understand that there are people, it's their other people's job, but to go eat somewhere and then just leave it like a complete mess, I find it seems kind of disrespectful. Might be different in a restaurant, but I'm talking about like in a mall restaurant or something, in the mall where you eat and you just sit down and it's like a public place where you eat. I always make sure to wipe down my table and not leave any crumbs behind, and to not leave it worse than it was when I got there. And again, some people just leave their junk anywhere. Now, this rule carries on just for anything you do. If you stay at someone's house, if you interact in a different place, someone's home, I always make sure to, at the bare minimum, to not leave it worse than it was when I interacted with it. And I always make sure to try to make it better. And that's should just be a tiny thing. If you use the sink at someone's house, making sure to wipe off the water on the sink when you're done using it, because when you went there, it wasn't wet before, and you use it and it's wet around the rim. I always make sure to wipe it down, just to leave it better than it was before I got there. So I found it's a good habit that I've had. I feel like, again, I'm leaving the world in a better place than when it was before I was there. So something you can try. It took me a little bit after doing it to actually ingrain it into my subconscious to where I feel uncomfortable, because I've gotten to the point where if I interact with something and I leave it worse than it was, or I had the opportunity to make it better, I can feel it in my soul. Like my brain knows. It's like it knows that I'm making the active decision to not leave it better, or to leave it worse. So that's just a little life tip that I've had in my life I just want to share with you. So alrighty, until the next video, peace.